All right, and we are live. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm Douglas Lattimore, and we are coming together to talk about incorporating the city of West Louisville. Want some of the other guests, the other speakers, to also introduce themselves, if you would, please.
All right.
I'm Dr.
Doc.
Michael Brooks.
And I'm Michael Churchill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so we are broadcasting in. We are broadcasting on YouTube, on 4 Facebook pages, and our Facebook group, Incorporate West Louisville, or excuse me, City of West Louisville 2023. All right. So we had a couple of things that we wanted to get started with. So I guess we can start with where are we? Where are we in the process? Okay. So so far we've spoken with the lawyer, a municipal lawyer, and we met with them as a group. We spoke with them about the different requirements that we have to meet in order to become a city. He said that we meet all the requirements, or we have to get the votes. We just have to get everybody to agree. But it sounds like a lot of West Louisville is already in agreement to this. So we have the lawyer. We have a group on Facebook, City of West Louisville 2023, and there's about 1,200 people on there. And we have, we've been, well, actually, this has been in progress for a long time, even before I got into the picture with Dr. Or Mr. Coleman. I don't remember if he's a doctor or not, but Louis Coleman. I remember he was the first person I heard that had mentioned anything about incorporating West Louisville. And then I got into this whole process of speaking to different people about incorporating West Louisville back in maybe 2000, either 12 or 14, something like that. And I've spoken to a lot of college professors. I've spoken with just a lot of people in the city, and so then so a lot of people have actually been attempting this, not just me, not just Reverend Coleman, and everybody has had their individual pushes to do this, but now we are more of a collective. It looks like we're a pretty big organized group, and it looks like we're getting this done. So that's what I have to say as far as where we are in the process. Just very little about the history of what's been going on. So I know before, when I spoke with you, Dr. Brooks, and Michael, we were speaking about what will be discussed on this particular broadcast. And one of the first things that was brought up, well, I'll read out the things that were brought up. So we need to discuss why we need to incorporate West Louisville as a city. What are the benefits? We need to discuss the name. Is it necessary to change the name of West Louisville? If it is, what's the process of choosing that name? And then speaking again on the borders, what are the borders that define the space that is going to be the city of West Louisville? And then the last thing that we were speaking about were making pamphlets so that we have an informational going out to everybody, so that people can see on their own, or can read what we've been doing, and then contribute from there. So, do you want to start with why we need to incorporate West Louisville?
Can't think of a better place than there to start.
Yep. Okay. Jump in. anytime I have some thoughts of why we need to incorporate the city of West Louisville, but did either of you have any thoughts that you wanted to add
The
or start with?
biggest one would be autonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, many people want to be able to have control over their own communities or over their own places where they live. Uh, right now, it doesn't seem like the city of Louisville in itself is actually providing efficient uh, services such as police, um, fire, trash. A lot of things that West Louisville is just really not pleased with is a reason for some individuals from West Louisville, such as ourselves, to step up and say that we would like to incorporate ourselves so we can have more control, better control over our lives here in West Louisville and to become self-sufficient.
Yeah, and speaking on, you just mentioned the police. So you're speaking about being self-sufficient, having the autonomy.
The police, yeah,
Yeah, I really want to touch on that police aspect.
Right.
And the reason I mentioned that is just because, well, a number of reasons, but the main reason is because the um, the violence that occurs in West Louisville, because we don't have, it seems like there's not a lot of consequences to some of the people who do these violent acts. But if we had our own police force, you know, we can decide that people do get consequences for these violent acts, and that we take people who are going to commit these violent acts off the street. And I think that's the number one reason well, there's two reasons, but that's the number one reason for me to want to incorporate West Louisville is the violence is out of control. And I know that we can get it under control. And because West Louisville is about 80% black, I don't usually call us black, but 80% what people call black, because it's predominantly black and run and being run by people who are not of the same ethnic group, then it causes a lot of, just confusion as far as, maybe they don't, well, they certainly don't love us as much as we love ourselves. And
Right.
and with self-autonomy, if I'm going to do a better job protecting my house than asking a stranger, or not even asking a stranger coming into my house and telling me they're going to protect my house, and I don't have a choice as to, whether they're, in my house or, doing the protection or not. I can provide my own protection, or I can get a group of people who are similar to me to provide the protection. And similar to what I'm just speaking right now is the city of West Louisville is a community of, as I said, of people who are what we consider black, and we're being run by another group of people, which is what it is. But as soon as we get our own police force, I really think we'll cut down that crime almost to a 0% murder rate. I want that. I really think we can. I'm almost sure. I really think we can get that murder rate down to nearly zero. I've seen it done in other places. I really have. I've seen other places where there's not violence like this, and I was, surprised. Living in other places where you don't have murder, even, whether it's other countries or, there's other places, but that's one of the biggest reasons why I think we should incorporate West Louisville. And I don't think there's a lot of disagreement with that particular aspect.
Yeah, because currently we're being policed by people who don't live in the neighborhood, so they don't have a vested interest in the neighborhood. Like they when you call, they arrive when they arrive because they aren't your neighbor.
we don't get
You
the
know?
same services. I mean, the same services that
Mm-mm.
people in East Louisville get and people in Southeast Louisville get, and and a lot of us know this. Uh, you can call the police department. You can have something going on. You can call the police department, and then it's like the heads that they'll come and tails they want. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just that. Also, I want to touch on and individuals having more. We're paying our taxes. You know, the city of Louisville takes our tax money and tax dollars, and again, that falls down too on the lack of services that we do receive from Louisville, the city of Louisville, Metro Louisville itself,
Right.
such as what I was mentioning on about not only the trash pickup, but the junk pickup. I understand that they have cut back on that as well. There's a lot of services that I think that West Louisville could benefit from for being incorporated, being our own city, that we could take care of our own business in a timely manner.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We pay our taxes, we should be able to get the same services anybody else gets, any place in Louisville itself. But that is not happening.
Our roads down here, they're, they're they're not being taken care of, and we're paying for it. And that was one of the things we found out through research is West Louisville is actually Louisville proper. Like if you take away West Louisville, there is actually no city of Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's one of those situations where they're pulling money out of our location, but not putting the money back in, and they're feeding that money off elsewhere. And I think that's been a large reason why there's been such a fight against us creating our own city.
Mhm.
They don't want to lose that tax base.
Listen, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Losing our tax base. We paying the dollars, but we're not getting anything in return for the dollars that we all pay out.
Mhm.
Right.
Is what I'm saying here.
Yes. Mm.
And
And I'm sorry.
we,
Yes, sir,
we,
Dr. Brooks.
we here in Louisville, West Louisville, we do know this, that our services are lacking. We work, majority of us, almost all of us in West Louisville have jobs. We work, we pay taxes just like everybody else. But when it comes to getting services that we need, uh, it's lacking in every area. I mean, every area.
Mm-hmm. And we're starting to see money come in, but it's not for us either.
And that's been
Um,
going on for a long time.
a very long time. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's a lot of things being built, and we know it's not for us.
There's been a lot of grants being written on West Louisville for the city to get money for, but West Louisville does not see that money. The, the
Mm-hmm.
grants come in, but when it comes to preparing whatever in the grants that they said they wanted the money for, West Louisville does not get it. This gives us an opportunity to write our own grants
Mm.
and
Right.
get our own monies.
Right.
And actually take care of the people who live here instead of just letting everything fall through the cracks.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Right. So most people are in agreement that we do need the city of West Louisville to come into fruition for us to have a better life. I know that now there are a few people who disagree with the city being made, but I actually didn't understand what the argument was against the city being made. Now, let me think of some of the arguments that. Well, one of the arguments was the tax issue. Actually, like, okay, you're talking about the taxes, but some people see that perhaps we'll have to pay more taxes if we become a city, and some of the generations older than myself didn't like that idea. Uh, are there any responses that you would have to that, either of you?
I've actually heard that pushback from my elders. Um, I think a lot of it is that we're used to the way the system has always been, and they also lived during a time where the people in West Louisville actually worked together. And I think we're trying to get back to that, but it's going to take us being able to manage ourselves to be able to do that.
Mhm.
A lot of people are resistant to change. It doesn't matter if you're old or young. A lot of
Mhm.
people are just resistant to change
Mhm.
in itself. But change is always good, especially if it's for the better. What do we have to lose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really can't think of what we would lose. I mean, even the taxes. Okay, so how would the taxes affect somebody living inside of West Louisville? How would West Louisville becoming a city change the taxes for somebody living inside of West Louisville? I think the property taxes, there's a possibility that the property taxes could rise, but not by much if it does rise. And then there's also other avenues to gather these taxes. We can tax the businesses that exist. There are several industries, industrial buildings and industries inside of West Louisville. They like put all the industrial buildings inside of West Louisville. So these places can be taxed. The burden doesn't just need to be on the citizens. It can
Right.
be on those businesses.
There's
So
also
mhm.
we could give those because a lot of those buildings are empty.
Say it again,
We
a
could
lot of
give
what?
a lot of those buildings are empty, which we could give tax incentives to companies to move there that would help our tax base by giving people jobs. So
Mhm.
because most of the people who work in West Louisville work outside of West Louisville and then come back home.
Mhm.
So if we could incentivize companies to come in and take the existing buildings that are there or build new buildings there, and because you already have a base of consumers and workers right there.
Mhm.
It's just most have to leave because there's not a whole lot of jobs necessarily. Um, there's that, and then there's it's basically a food desert on top of it.
Right.
So that's most inner city America as it is.
Speaking on the food deserts, and okay, so okay, I heard what you. I want to first speak on the part where you said we can bring businesses in that that can help us out or that can occupy those empty buildings. I do like that idea. Uh, and yeah, it is a food desert. Like I go hungry,
Right.
in West Louis, like hungry in West Louisville, looking for food because the stores out there. Okay, so the stores have Debbie cakes
Hmm.
and some type of sugar drink, and like that's our options. Or we can go to there's like two Krogers in West Louisville, one on 28th and then one on like 34th over in Portland roundabout.
Hmm.
And but I mean the distance even between like the distance to walk there if you don't have a vehicle is is great. Is a long distance. And then
Right.
if one of them shuts down, which has happened before, like when we had those small riots during COVID or during was it Breonna Taylor or during one of those
Hmm.
time periods, one of the Krogers shut down, and it was so difficult for me to grab food. And then so you know, yeah, it's a food desert. If we are able to make this city, we can do so much to solve our problems. And eating is the basis of life. Eating and having somewhere to live. You know,
Hmm.
yeah,
Food, water, shelter.
food, water, and shelter. Yeah. Okay, so
And we did talk about. I think we talked about before about we would have to pay the city a certain amount of our taxes. Like whatever we acquired through the tax base, we would have to give the city a certain amount. The main city, the city government. So um, I forgot what it was because when we talked to the lawyer, he mentioned that. I mean, it wasn't like a huge amount, but I think a lot of it to get it through, we would have to come to agreement with the city council in order to come to an agreement on tax wise, as far as how much they would accept or something like that. Because I mean, take away West Louisville, the city's gonna be hurt.
Yeah, it would.
Mm.
It would. And then so that brings up the point of do we secede from Louisville, which I don't think we should do, but that's an option.
No.
Right. Because if we secede from Louisville, does does Louisville Metro then go bankrupt because they don't have us to eat off of? No, really.
Which is why they, well, for lack of a better term, which is why they won't let West Louisville go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the battle because they know that's where they're getting the money. So
Doctor,
it would have to be a very strongly brokered deal.
yeah. Are y'all familiar with Dr. Robert Douglas over at U of L? He passed recently. He was one of my mentors. I really appreciate his, his work and our conversations and everything. He recently passed. Let's see. He recently passed, and he was telling me that West Louisville starts at First Street. From First Street, west of First Street, all the way to the river. That's West Louisville. Now, we don't have to take all that, but that's technically West Louisville. Now, what a lot of the demarcation lines that you might see on Google that has been prescribed to us is from west of 9th Street. But I just wanted to make it just have people understand that west of First Street is really West Louisville, and then so all of downtown Louisville would be included into West Louisville if we want to be, technical with it.
Right.
So we could go west of First Street and really thrive. Like I don't see any question as to whether we would thrive or not if we had all of downtown Louisville, the jailhouse, those skyscrapers, or not, maybe the high rises,
Right. City
okay,
Hall.
City Hall. They call that the business district. That's District 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh man, if we had District 4, oh man, we would be rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
That would be a fight.
Yeah, it would. But if we choose to go west of 9th Street, we can still thrive, So, but I just wanted to make that point, and then so we can secede from Louisville, which is an option, which may not be the best option, or we can just stay within Louisville. We can stay within Louisville and form our own city and still be part of Louisville Metro and still be part of Louisville proper. I heard, yeah, go ahead.
Like Shively, St. Matthews, like all the other smaller neighborhoods are. They're their own city, but they work with the city. So like they say, St. Matthews has their own police department, but LMPD backs them up. Same with Shively. Shively has its own police department, but LMPD backs them up. And I think it's like the homicide unit and detectives, and if there's like something major happens, LMPD steps in. Garbage collection, it's like you can either work with the city and pay a fee to use the city garbage collection, or you can go through a private contractor like Rumpke and whatnot. Um, so it's just one of those things. Um, well, I mean, there's a monopoly on water and
Yeah.
sewage, so
Yeah.
we already know
Water,
who we got to
sewage, and electricity.
work with that. Yep, the three things the city should have bought years ago but didn't.
Hmm. I see a comment here. I just want to let people. Oh, I do want to have people know that you can comment. We'll read your comments. You can also just join us on the live. You can always, there's a link in the description, depending on where you're viewing this from. There's a link. So you can join the live. You can also stream this to any platform. If anybody wants to also stream this to any platform they have, that would be great to get the word out. But the link is in the description. If you want to join, if you don't see the link, just let us know. And so I wanted to read this comment from, it says Facebook user. It usually says the name of the person. But can West Louisville create divisions that offer the citizens better food, cleaner water, and more affordable and safer homes? Yes, absolutely. So a city, what a city does, just think of everything that, any city, any city that that you've been in, what they do. So they control the zoning laws, everything. They control everything that you can do is what the city controls. So the zoning laws, they control that the housing, they control. Let's see, how would you say? Well, zoning laws deals with housing, and then you also have um, the city can create programs that helps people get affordable housing. So also, what a city does is it basically takes in millions of dollars and then it uses it because the city is a business. It takes in millions of dollars, produces millions of dollars, and also takes it in from the federal government and takes it in from people's taxes. And then they use it to run the society. They they use it for the housing, for the roads, for the sewage, the electricity, other power, the bringing businesses in so that people can eat. Uh, Basically, everything that controls your life, the city controls that. Almost everything that controls your livelihood, the city controls that. So yes, can West Louisville create divisions that offer citizens better food, cleaner water, more affordable and safer homes? Absolutely. But it's going to take us to do it though. We're not, if we ask like we've been asking for all these generations, asking other groups of people to do this for where we are in West Louisville, it hasn't gotten done yet, and we fare much better if we just do it ourselves. But we have to create the city to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for that question. And I would read your name. I just didn't see the name. It just says Facebook user. But you can definitely just give your name or comment more. Anybody else who has any questions or comments, please do send those in. We mentioned about the name of West Louisville possibly needing to be changed. So I didn't see. Oh, Wayman. That's Wayman. Hey, what's up, Wayman? Mr. Eddings. Hey, man, you can join the live if you want. There is a link in the chat. If you find it, you can always join the live. Okay, so the name of the city. So there is a township or a small unincorporated area that is called West Louisville, but it's not a city.
Right. It's West Louisville, Kentucky, wasn't it?
Right. It's West Louisville,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right. That's okay. But so I'm not even sure. First, I thought that we definitely needed to change the name of West Louisville because there's a West Louisville, Kentucky. But I'm not sure. I've looked it up trying to find any laws or find any laws that can govern or help us guide our our decision, and also I was looking for any precedents. Was there anywhere else in the country that has a township named the same name inside of this? Okay, what a township in the same state named the same name of a city? And yes, it does exist. So I don't know that we absolutely have to change the name, but it may be beneficial for us to change the name. It may be better for us not to change the name. So this is going to have to be a group decision. So no one person is making any of these decisions, right? It's all a group decision. But I don't know that it's the law that we have to change it.
We at
But
least need a backup name just in case that little
yeah,
township. Even though, I mean, when we looked it up, it's in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's literally in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they probably wouldn't even realize that we were incorporating the city up here. Cause, yeah,
I think there was just a few. What do you call them? There was just a few families there too. I mean,
yeah,
so
it was
few.
like 50 people, 50 or 100
Exactly.
people lived there. Yeah,
Something like 50. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that we have to be worried about that, but like you said, having a backup would be wise. Okay, so that's the name. So let's talk about the borderlines. We spoke some about the borderlines. Hold on, Sorry, guys, I'm trying to find out where everybody went to on my screen. Okay, you can still see me, I'm sure, but I can't see you right now. But speaking about the borders. So West Louisville, if you were to Google it, the way that a lot of officials in Louisville have defined West Louisville is west of 9th Street, all the way to the river, west all the way to the river. Northernmost part is the river in Portland, and then the southernmost part is where it comes to, what's that next city? Shively.
Shively?
Yes. So that's the boundaries. So that's like Algonquin, south towards Algonquin Parkway, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And another thing I just thought of is if we try to push it out to First Street, that's gonna grab the Yum Center in there too. Yeah, that's gonna be a fight. And the Omni, and yeah.
You know, there's a strategy. I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael.
Oh, go ahead. I was done.
Okay, so here's a strategy that I see a lot of people make when they're doing negotiation. They'll go for the max and then get talked down to something more what somebody might call reasonable or what can be agreed upon. Now, if we were to get the Yum Center and get everything that's west of that's west of First Street, that would be great for us. It may not be great for the rest of Louisville Metro. But if we were to go in fighting for west of First Street, it may help us out. It may help us out that we can be talked down to something smaller instead of just asking for the smaller amount and them trying to fight us to not give us anything at all.
Right. Start at
Just a
First
strategy.
Street and maybe end up with Fifth Street down or something.
Right.
That could work. Yeah.
I'm not saying that we necessarily should do that. I'm just saying that's a strategy that I've seen implemented in other in other negotiating situations.
Shoot for the stars and land on the moon. I mean,
yeah.
The way you still got there.
Yeah, they say run through the finish line when I was in track. Run through the finish line. Don't
run
stop
through it. Yeah.
Run through it. Your goal is not the finish line. Your goal is past the finish line.
Past it.
Yeah, and then you get to the finish line before everybody else. Okay, so that's the borderlines. Were there anything else that we wanted to mention about the borderlines?
So how far south where you are speaking of? You said as far as Algonquin neighborhood is concerned, you know that the Algonquin neighborhood does stretch past Algonquin Parkway.
Yeah.
I think it runs until Shively. I think by the map. You have the map, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Here,
Can you
I'm
share
pulling
that?
it up now. I am pulling that up. Please, you can continue to speak until I pull that up. Here, can I share the screen? All right, yeah. So we're talking about the southernmost boundary.
Southernmost
Mm-hmm.
boundary. I just want to clarify it. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ooh, ooh.
I'm thinking Radcliffe, but you may be right. It extends all the way out to the Shively boundary, which would make sense.
Mhm. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what's this? Uh, okay, southernmost. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Okay, well, right here it's saying Algonquin Parkway, but
Yeah.
is that the beginning of Shively? Seems like
No,
no, it seems like
No.
Shively's further south.
it's a little.
Um,
It's,
okay. I remember speaking with I'm trying to remember her name. Sean Spencer. If
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
um she was telling me, okay, so there's an area between that Algonquin Parkway and Shively. Um, she was just talking to me about that, and remembering that conversation. Yeah, it does go further south. It does go further south,
well,
but exactly the southernmost boundary. I'm not sure. I have to look up what the northernmost boundary of Shively is.
I'm thinking wherever the Algonquin neighborhood boundary south would end,
Mm-hmm.
wherever that is, and it should be somewhere around Radcliffe, maybe Radcliffe Avenue, which is 2 or 3 blocks to the south of Algonquin,
Right.
and then west.
Okay, I
I'm
was
just,
pulling.
I'm just curious. I just wanted to see just how far out West Louisville could go
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to include Algonquin neighborhood. It should be included.
I agree. I
Right.
think we should
I agree.
butt up right to the southernmost, uh, as far as we can go south. To the next city,
Mm-hmm.
which is Shively.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Take as much space as we can. Okay, I am pulling up. Did we want to see Google Maps, or is it necessary? Because I just pulled it up on one of my screens. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we could take a look at it and see.
okay, okay, okay. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Here, Rob. Before I share my screen, I want to read this next comment. Okay, it says procedure. Proceeding Proceedings to incorporate a territory come before the circuit court of the county in which the area is located. To commence the action, a petition is filed with the clerk
We know
of
that.
the circuit court. The petition contains the signatures and addresses of either a number of registered voters equal to 2/3 of the voters in the area, or a number of owners of real property equal to the owners of at least 2/3 of the assessed value of the property in the area. A description.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, yes. And so the procedures, that's correct to my knowledge, and from what the lawyer was telling us. The procedures is in a pamphlet, or excuse me, a manual. I think it's called the Kentucky State. Um, okay. I'm trying to remember exactly. Kentucky Municipal Statutory Law, something like that. Manual, something like that. But it's in the group. It's in the Facebook group. And if you look into the files, you can pull that right up. And I think if I remember correctly, it starts on page 15, where it gives you the procedure, exactly what the procedure is prescribed by the law. But this is what's written here is the procedure. But we can pull that up. I'll pull that up in either another group. Excuse me, another future broadcast, or we can pull that up now. But that what was written is the procedure as I know it. Okay, here I'm going to share the screen again of the Google Maps because we're just to get a visual of what we're talking about. Okay, we are okay. Here's Shively. This is trying to think. How far down? How far down? Okay.
Pushing up against what Hallmark neighborhood?
Hallmark neighborhood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. But how far south is it before Shively? I've forgotten. I've kind of forgotten where Shively starts. It's easier to see where Shively starts if you're driving.
You know from and it's not like a straight like line that divides it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like crooked lines,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what part of town you're coming from, east, west, north, or south.
Right.
It's not that you can just cross a line and say I'm done left Hallmark and I'm in Shively. It depends on what directions you're coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Because
Can you pull up a map of Shively?
That is what I'm pulling up right now. I'm looking at Shively, Kentucky boundaries.
There we go.
Kentucky. I am. It's going to be one of these. Let's see what this is. This really isn't. Okay, I'm looking up a couple maps, and I'm not really seeing you. If anybody else, if you pull up a map too before I pull up a map, we can just screen share your what is on your computer. But because of the maps that I'm pulling up, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The maps that I'm pulling up, it's not defining a line. It's given a roundabout general location. You know, like, okay, can you see this? This is when I typed in the Shively boundaries. Yeah, see?
It doesn't even have streets on it. That's an old map too.
Okay. Well, here, let me stop sharing that. I'm going to find that in our conversation. I'm going to find that. But as it is right now, I'm not seeing definite lines to define Shively. But we know the general roundabout area of Shively. And if I could find this before we get off the live, I will pull it up. I'm looking. But if you also find it, please do share your screen, and we can look at that together, so we can see what the southernmost boundary is of what would be the city of West Louisville. Oh man, this is now. It's a monumental thing that we're doing right now. There's not been a lot of places. There's not been a lot of incorporated areas that has been incorporated by the people who are called Black people. There's not a lot of areas that's been incorporated by us. It's been incorporated by a foreign entity, or people who are not from the land, which it is what it is. But okay, so there's definitely a couple of places that have been incorporated by us and then taken over. Now one of the places I wanted to mention to you all an example of an attempt to incorporate was a place called Soul City. I sent the link to. I know I sent it to you, Michael. I don't know if I sent it to you, Dr. Brooks. But I posted it on my Facebook. I'll throw it in the comment section so people can see it. Now, if you watch that video, they were doing excellent. This is back, what's the guy's name? I don't know. It was several presidents back, I just forgotten the president's name. But anyway, so they get one of the presidents to help them incorporate the city. The president was for it. A whole bunch of famous people were for it. They start this city called Soul City, and they build a whole lot of buildings. They clear out land. They build government buildings and build houses. And then they get all the way to like the last few steps. And I don't even know how it fell apart. But it did. It fell apart, and then and now it's just like an empty town with a bunch of structures, almost a ghost town. It's not a ghost town, but it's almost a ghost town, but it's not incorporated. And so I just want to mention that in order to say this isn't going to be an easy fight, because we are talking about changing some fundamental things about the way the society operates. I'm getting a call, but I'm going to come to that a little later. So we have to contend with our own, because some people will be against this. But even if we're all for it, even if we have a president for us helping us out, it can still be stopped. It can still be stopped. So we have to understand that. So this is a fight that is not for the weak, I guess we could say, for a metaphor. But this is a battle that we're going to have to go all the way through until we get the result that we're looking for. And even after we get it, we run through the finish line. Even after we get it, we still have to work in order to make this work. We still have to do a lot to make this work for us. I want to mention that.
You just can't get complacent.
Yes, sir.
Happy with, you can't just have the one victory you get happy with. It's a marathon more so than just a race. You're muted. You muted yourself. Oh, well, we lost him. There we go.
Oh, I'm still here. I thought y'all could hear me. I'm just going to grab this phone to make sure that it's not an emergency.
Okay.
But I'm still here. I can still hear everything that you're talking, everything that you're saying. Okay. So where were we? We're talking about we were talking about the boundary lines, and right now hold on. I kind of got thrown off with the phone ringing and thinking and everything. But so there's other examples that we need to look at, and I'll put it in the description, or excuse me, in the chat as to Soul City that I was just mentioning before, so that we can just check out what other people have tried before. This says, what is the current, one of the comments I just pulled up, what's the current status of this project? Will the petition process begin soon? We are not at the petition yet. The lawyer has to draft our petition. And so in order for the lawyer to draft the petition, we have to agree on the boundary lines. So we have to agree on the boundary lines. We have to agree on a name. This is actually what's slowing us down is that okay, so I was under the impression that we had to change the name of the city. That's what I thought. But the more I researched it, it may not be the case. It may be the case, but it may not be the case. So we couldn't even get to the drafting the petition part, even though like I've written a rough draft. But for the lawyer to write a draft that's going to actually go through the courts, he's going to need the name of the city, which we don't have yet. It could be just West Louisville as it is now. So he needs the name of the city. He needs the boundary lines. He needs to know that there's a big number of us that agree that this needs to happen. And he's already met with a pretty good portion of us, and he's seen the Facebook group and everything. So he knows that we're on the same page. There's enough of us to get this started. So to answer your question, what's the status? We need to figure out something on the name. we can go ahead and start with the name of West Louisville, and then as Michael was stating before, we can then have a backup name if we need to do that. Now, the process of of determining a name can take more time. It's going to take time, no matter what. It's going to take time. How much time? I don't know, but I just threw it out there in the Facebook group a couple of times about changing the name, and there's been a lot of comments as to what people think the name should be changed to, and so people have ideas as to what the name should be, but again, when we're working with the whole city of people, it may be quite a process to actually determine a name, and I don't know what that process would be as far as yet. I'm not sure what that process would be for us to come together and determine the name of the city. I guess we could do it in the Facebook group, but I mean, I think it's going to even need to be broader than that so that everybody is aware that we're even considering changing the name. Okay, so another point that we were speaking on was printing out pamphlets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, and this, Michael, you were speaking on this. Do you mind saying some on this? I'm gonna grab this phone real quick and just check.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We were speaking about printing out like just a little, either a sheet or a bifold with some basic information, talking about what we're doing, what the plan is, so that we can go to events and hand it out to people, so that they actually have something physical that they can look at and be like, okay, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. And I know before we had talked about going like maybe door to door and stuff like that, so that would also give that physical piece of paper that people can actually just look at it and read it and see what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a task for the.
I can get it printed. I can get it printed easy.
Cool. And then the information that actually needs to go in there. We can form a committee. I don't know what everybody's thought is on that. We can form a committee that can compile all the information that goes into the pamphlet. Then that way we have some type of order as to how the information is being formulated and gathered together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those were the major topics that we had, and I know that this is just the beginning. This is just a first broadcast that we have, and we are working towards this. We are going to have more broadcasts in the future, perhaps every week. That's what I was committed to. I don't know what everybody else's thoughts were on that. I figure we need to hit often in order for people to be aware of this process.
For it to stick.
I didn't catch you.
For it to stick.
Yeah.
Do you know when the next meeting is going to be? In order for us to come together and maybe start putting together some committees to get some stuff done.
Yes, sir. So that's something we're going to need to set. We can set that after we get off of this live. We can set a meeting for people to come together. Now, for this particular meeting, are we talking about more of the board, which would be the smaller group, or a almost like a town hall meeting where we have as many people that are a part of West Louisville to come together for this particular meeting?
Well, number one, we're speaking of putting a committee together for like a communication committee or something together to gather information like in pamphlet form to distribute information about incorporating. Why incorporate? The boundaries, what we're doing, how we came about, what's all that. So I'm thinking that it may be the meeting for that, and maybe any other committees that could be formed during that time to kind of get this moving along here.
Yes, sir. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in forming these committees.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just been that trying to get order has been a task. You know, this is my first time helping to incorporate a city. So it's a task that, you know, I'm new to, but I've spoken with a lot of people and have worked with a lot of people who are ready to make these committees and have, you know, have really been pushing me to get on starting these committees. Um, so yes, we need to do that, and we need to set that up as soon as possible. I know that people will show up to that, and they are ready to take leadership position in those committee situations. Okay, so I would say that we need to, okay, after we figure out some dates, or even in figuring out some dates, we may need to send out a message in the group, letting people know that we're considering dates, see what what dates they're considering, or that they're available, or we can narrow it down for them and have a few dates for them and ask, you know, are you available at any of these dates? What works best for us to all come together? So I guess my main point was my main point was that we need to speak to the group. We need to figure out a way to speak to the greater group, basically put it in the Facebook group in order for them to know that we're forming these committees and that we're going to meet to form these committees. And I want to get as many people involved as possible so that we have as much talent as possible. How do I say? So I what I was hoping that we didn't run into is that it's just like one small clique that is kind of running all the committees, like, you know, just like 6 people who really know each other, hang out all the time, that's running all the committees. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I was hoping that we can, you know, get as many people together as possible so then that we can choose and diversify who's running these committees, who's best fitted to run these committees, and then how are we going to structure it. I guess just in the organization aspect, you know, trying to figure out how to go about this in the most organized way. I've been just wanting to get as many people as possible so that I'm kind of losing my words as to what I'm thinking. I'm trying not to say things a certain way, but what I'm trying to say is that we need a lot of people together so that then we can see, you know, then we can have everything to organize. It's kind of like if you have, you know, 3-5 people and we're trying to organize a whole city, it's not enough to get it done. It seems if we need a big group of people, and then we can, again, okay, you have this talent, you have that talent, you have that talent, identify the talents and put people in these positions. I could be going about things the wrong way, but this is, if I'm making any sense, this is what my consideration has been.
And this is where you're going to need more than one particular meeting to meet the chap, because there are some people who are available on certain days and times, and some people are not. We may want to first of all outreach to people to find out what better dates and times they are available. Maybe have a meeting or something during the week, and then maybe one on Saturday. You know, to reach everybody. Your idea, Douglas, is a good idea, because you don't want 5 or 6 people on a committee. Well, one out of 5 or 6, 2 out of 5 or 6 is going to run everything. That's not going to work at all. You really do need a wide group of people with a wide group of talents that can take over certain things. And in order to get that, again, we're going to need to have more than that one particular meeting. We'll need to reach out and maybe schedule a series of meetings. I'm saying no more than 3. I'm not saying we need to have a whole lot of meetings, but at least enough meetings to try to reach out to a lot of people. We got a lot of people on Facebook. We've had a lot of people to show up at the meetings. I've been there too. So, uh, yeah, let's concentrate on setting up some meeting times and dates after this broadcast, and see if we can come up with a lot of people to show up and a lot of people to actually take the lead on some of the projects that we're going to have going. We're going to need these committees. We're going to need those. 3 or 4 people's not going to get it.
Right. Yeah. We're going to need some leaders for the subcommittees for certain. And I mean, with 1,000 people, there's got to be some kind of brain trust going on in there.
Yeah. Oh man, let me tell you, I know the people. I know a good portion of the people inside the group. We have the best of us there. I'm telling you, we have every person who every role that needs to be filled. We have in that group that we have people who can fill that and do an excellent job. People who are business men and women, family men and women. We have people who have education in these particular fields, have experience in these different fields. We have people who are in government, a number of people who have already been elected. Speaking of, like we definitely have a great pool of talent to pull from. I just want to mention that we have the people. We have the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have doctors, lawyers, everything. Judges, we have everything. Scientists, mathematicians. We got what's that? Engineering. Like we have everything that you can have to run a city. We can do this. Okay, so Wayman, you said recom. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me pull. Maybe this is what you're saying. Okay, I recommend that a small core group lead and own the charter because the work will be dedicated work. Yes, in fact, a municipality is much like a corporation. Yes, it's called a municipal corporation. Yes, it is a corporation. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. So right, we need that small core group, just like there's in any other corporation that you have. You have a board of directors. That's that small core group that basically is the what do you call it? Is the representation for the greater group, and then that greater group speaks to the representation, and works with them in order to get everything accomplished. Yes, we need that small core group that is basically like the board of directors. Okay, what is this saying? Okay, Facebook creator, Facebook user. If you create the plan and the roadmap for how this process needs to be, then you will have the content for flyers, brochures or literature about the project. It's really hard to get people to agree on one certain thing or things. It's best to have some structure already laid out to involve the general public. I agree. And then so that's been, just trying to figure that out. Organizing everything has been a task, and I'm new to this, but I definitely appreciate we have people to help us out and get this figured out. We have plenty of great people Facebook users. We have plenty of great people interested, but you have to guide people in a direction to move forward. Someone has to take the lead, or else we will continue to go in the same circles. Right. I'm all for leadership. You'll hear different speakers say that we don't need any leaders. I think that's ridiculous. You don't have corporations without a leader. You don't have countries without a leader. You don't have teams without a leader. You literally don't have anything without a leader. Yeah,
Yeah,
we absolutely need leadership.
I think a lot of people think that if you look in our history, that having one leader usually is a problem because you cut the head off the snake dies. But if you have a multi-headed snake, then you don't have that problem.
Right. Right. So with that being said, okay, so we've been kind of running things in our community like there's one leader, instead of thinking how businesses operate. Even though they do have a president, they still have an organization. So if that president dies, these corporations live past the person. That's the whole idea
Hmm.
of having a corporation, or different business organizations, is that the business can live longer than the person.
Hmm.
So with the corporation, so you have the leader, but if the leader dies, then you already have the structure that somebody takes that position. So yeah, we just have to structure this correctly.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely hearing what you're saying, that what people are thinking is that in the past we've had leaders, and then like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and then once they pass, it's like things stop altogether. Um, an organizational structure. I'm reading the comment. An organizational structure.
Yeah, basically, like when you set up a corporation, you have to fill in your organizational structure before you can actually incorporate.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. So you have to put who's the president, the CEO, the CFO, and whatnot. So
Hmm. Hmm.
and who the successors would be in the event that whoever is the main person is no longer there. So I mean, even if you look at our like judicial system, you know, like there's always a successor lined up behind.
Yes. Here's another comment that came in. Um, Said Lewis Coleman did some work on incorporating West Louisville. Are we looking at the work that was previously done? I've had different people tell me that they have the work. They have, like, I don't know if it's a binder of work, or they have compiled some of the work that Mr. Coleman has done before us, and they've offered to meet and share that work. So I haven't seen some of the things that people are talking about. I've heard a lot about it. I have studied what Mr. Lewis Coleman did, or Reverend Lewis Coleman did in the past. I think that he, well, I'll just say yes, we do need to look at this work. It
There was
says,
another there was another one too, wasn't it? At one of the meetings, there was somebody had told us that there was a sister that was trying to get West Louisville incorporated at 1.2. She had got pretty far, but then it fell apart. I
"Are you?
forgot. Mm,
Did she run for office?"
I think so. I
Sharita
think I
Rickman.
think that I think it might be.
Okay, so Miss Rickman, yeah. So yeah, I was working with her back in like 2000, like I said, 2000 or 2012, 2014, somewhere around that time period. So I'm also a real estate broker, and I was working with the Christian, some type of community center, and Trinity Christian Community Center or something like that. Anyway, yeah. So we were working on something, with buying up a lot of houses and stuff, and yeah. So we worked together, and then later she went to run for office, and then she was advocating to create the city also. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I'm very familiar with that, but I'm not familiar with how much she did as far as paperwork. Here's another comment. It says that is what your next meeting should be. Developing, creating that structure. Okay. I do agree with you. And yeah, so like I was mentioning before, there's a lot of people who have come and actually attempted to do this. It's just we are where we are now, and this is the group that is the biggest group pushing. Actually, it seems like the only group pushing towards getting this done. I think we are the only organized group pushing to get this done. Before, it's just been one person here, one person there, and as they're running for office, they're using that to gain momentum and also to push that agenda forward. But the organizing aspect, I'm not sure as to what was done in organizing everything to get accomplished. But yeah, I see one. Here's another. I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay, this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
I see another comment here. Facebook user says, incorporating West Louisville was on the ballot. It was?
It was.
When was it on the ballot? Who is this?
But that was a long time ago, though.
Hold on. When was it on the ballot?
It was back there during Lewis Coleman time. Back there about the same time that people were voting to merge Metro.
Oh.
Right around 2001, maybe.
Somewhere around that 2000, 2001. It was like the year 2000 initiative or whatever they had.
Yeah, and it was.
Whatever. Yeah.
It was. It definitely was on there.
Okay. So this is like around the time that I'm moving to Louisville. Is that 2000, 2001 era or period of time? And so I got there right before they made Louisville a metro. I was, I'm young then. I might be, in grade school, and they're making Louisville a metro. This is right before they do that. So I've heard somebody mention something about that, but I actually hadn't seen it, and I hadn't had anybody actually confirm it for me. But yeah, okay. So reading that comment again, incorporating West Louisville was on the ballot about the time people voted for Metro. Oh, I didn't finish reading that sentence.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So it was obviously voted down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what were the conversations back then?
I was young, so
yeah.
It was, I mean, if it was 2000, 2001, I was in high school.
Yeah. I was just finishing up middle school. So, I mean, I was aware of the merger. I was aware of the merger, but I wasn't aware of this being on the ballot.
Right. Yeah, I was aware of the merger, but that part of the ballot as well. Because I remember it was a lot of opposition about merging the city and the county.
Yeah, it was a lot of. I was one of them that opposed that Louisville Metro stuff, and with the city, when it was just to me, it was fine. Jerry Abeson was the one that brought that to Louisville. You're absolutely correct on that. And my understanding is that he had a reason for it that I really don't want to broadcast it. Maybe we'll discuss that a little later on.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Abelson's ruling for that. But I think back then when West Louisville, when they put that out there, we were really flourishing at one time.
Oh, yeah.
As far as West Louisville was concerned. And I don't know what, I think Abelson brought that merger thing once before it. I think the second time was when it passed. I don't think it passed the first time.
No, yeah, it didn't pass first time because the county didn't want to do it.
Twice. But a lot of people did oppose it at that at that time, because at that time West Louisville was flourishing at that time. Right now, we're lacking a lot of services. Of course, you all know that. So
Well,
this
yeah.
is the reason why we want to incorporate our own city here. But oh yeah, I could go back. We'll discuss it. I just don't want to discuss some things on the air like this. Maybe
Yes,
Yes, sir.
maybe at our meeting or something, I'll shed some light to it.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the Facebook user says, I think this is Wayman still, says Eddie Davis.
Eddie Davis.
Eddie Davis has the history. Combining the city of West Louisville and Jefferson County. I think he's speaking about the merger earlier. And then he said, I voted to incorporate and make West Louisville its own city. Again, this is right before I'm getting into obviously I couldn't vote back then, but this is like I'm just getting to the city, and then I'm starting to explore my environment more and meet more people and my elders, and then so shortly after that period, I'm coming into contact with a lot of professors and different professions and just different people in the community and understanding some of that history. And and the more I thought on it, like, man, we absolutely need to incorporate this area, like, to solve almost all of our problems. Incorporate the area, and then we control our house.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to give some time for anybody else who was interested to comment. Anybody else who's interested to also come in and join us on the live if you want to. I will put the link in the chat again so that people join us on the live. Hold on. Yeah, so I'm gonna put that link in again so people that can go ahead and join if they choose to. But I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. It looks like we've gone an hour and 20 minutes so far, roundabout. But I do want to go ahead and continue on with this conversation a little longer and speak. Anybody, y'all can go ahead and speak as I'm putting this into the description, if you don't mind. Oh, hey, I'm seeing a whole bunch of comments now. Oh, man.
yeah.
Oh,
I can't see them. I'm in streaming.
Oh, dang. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, you can. Well, one thing we definitely got to deal with is state representative issue pushback.
You said we also have to deal with the state representative pushback. Can you speak a little more on that?
Well, our state representative from our district.
Yeah. Okay, that's absolutely. We need the state representative in our district to agree to get this accomplished. That's what the lawyer was telling us, that we absolutely need that seat in agreement so that we can get this accomplished. And that if they're not in agreement, it's going to be a very tough road for us. Okay, so now I'm seeing who wrote which comment. Okay, so Miss Barbara, I see you were writing. I said it was Wayman. It was not. It was Miss Barbara speaking on some of these comments. This was you, Miss Barbara. Okay, sorry about that. Looking at different screens. Okay, and then Erica. How you doing, Erica? How you doing, Miss Barbara? Erica also was in here. Hey, if y'all want to join the live, I put the okay, this is Erica. So I put the link in the chat so that you can join if you choose to. Okay. So yeah, so as I'm seeing when I look at some of these comments, I just see Facebook user on my computer, But when I look on my phone, I can actually see who it is. So sorry I wasn't reading the names earlier. I just didn't see it at the time. Yeah, so this was Erica also right here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so were there any other topics that we need to cover before we close down? Or before we call this a broadcast?
Um, None I can think of right now.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I haven't seen anybody click the link yet, and I don't see any more comments coming in. So if everybody is satisfied, we will go ahead and start wrapping this up. So let's again, just some information for people to know, whoever's seeing this broadcast now or in the future. So we have a group on Facebook called City of West Louisville 2023. It is a private group. There are currently 1,200 people. Recently, it dropped. There were some people who were like not users, or like sometimes people can get at it that aren't actually users or something, or I don't know, something weird. So it's like right under 1,200. It's like a thousand. 1,190 something. So, I mean, we're right there. Anyway, so that group does exist. Please join that group. You can see some of the other things that we've been discussing in the past. And you'll see in that group, if you click on the files section, I can pull that up. I don't know if that would be helpful for people, because some people don't know how to navigate. Don't know how to navigate the Facebook group. So if y'all don't mind, I wanted to share this screen for a moment and just help people see some of the features of this group. Okay, can y'all see the screen so far?
Yep, we can get. We're good. I can see it.
Okay, we can see it. Okay. So right now we are in the group, right? So if we go to right here, you see where my mouse is on files. You click on files, and right here you'll see Kentucky Municipal Statutory Law PDF. This is where you'll find the procedure as to how to go about incorporating the city. We can pull that up. We can pull that up later, but this is where it is so that you know where it's located. Right here, what I'm hovering over now is KRS 67C.111. This PDF is speaking of, it's saying, okay, there was a law that was created right after the merger or right during the merger period that said no other cities can be incorporated inside of Jefferson County, and it was due to the merger. Now, but then recently, and I need to figure out, I need to put it in the file section, but we also have House Bill 314, I think it is. House Bill 314 says that they are revising the wording, or they're actually basically overturning this law that I'm hovering over now, the KRS 67, and now cities can be incorporated inside of Jefferson County. So they said that the law was archaic, or the wording inside the law was archaic, and that they needed to update it, blah blah blah. And now other people can incorporate, but inside I'll put in the file section for people to see in the future. But this HR, I think it's HR 314, is saying that yes, cities can now incorporate inside of Jefferson County, except for what they call the Louisville what do they call it? What do you call those districts? Service districts. The service districts cannot be incorporated, which is basically West Louisville and all the areas that we're in. So West Louisville, I think it is. It might be Smoketown. It might be downtown, something like that. So then this is the issue that we need to solve. And this is actually the issue I think needs to be solved on the state representative level. And I could be incorrect, but we'll go over that in future broadcasts and future meetings. Okay, right here, what I'm hovering over right now, this was Obiri. We met a young lady. She met with me and she wanted to give the group some information that she had found, that she had studied, and a report that I think she did for school, and that she provided it for this group, her research. And it's talking about, it says food security infographic. And then so it was a good read. It's telling you some of the facts about the food desert and everything. It was a lot of good information in there. Okay, so I just want to point out, this is where people need to be checking, right here under files. This is where a lot of our very important information is going to be. You see events. We have different events that you can see. We'll have any future events right in this space. You can find it here. I don't know what's under media. I didn't mean to pull that up. Featured. So this is the featured comments, the things that the posts that I thought were more important. And then here's our general discussion, or what everybody sees. And so a lot of people have been contributing as far as what posts has been written in the group. You'll see we'll have some more polls. We took a poll of whether people think that we need to have our own police force or we need to contract with LMPD. Most people were not for LMPD, even speaking with them outside of the group and everything. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, let people see how you can navigate that Facebook group, and join the Facebook group if you haven't. And please bring people in to join that group, because there's a lot of good information in there that can help guide you as to what we're doing and what we'll be doing in the future. Yes. All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate everybody for attending. We'll be doing this again. You can find this inside the Facebook group, this particular broadcast. You'll also find this particular broadcast on any of my Facebook pages. My name is Douglas Lattimore. If you look it up, you'll see it on my pages. I also started a Facebook page that is going to be dedicated to incorporating West Louisville and other cities. So there's other areas that also want to incorporate. That particular Facebook page is called Moor Empire. If you look that up on Facebook, you'll see the broadcast there. And then I also want to let anybody know who wants to rebroadcast this or share this on any platform that you have. I'm giving permission, because sometimes these different platforms have copyright strikes that do and stuff. And so there won't be any copyright strikes. Anybody who wants to use this and share it with people, either on your own platform or just share it with people, please do. So I just wanted to say all that. And any other comments before we end?
No, just be glad to see you guys again next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have pushed the ball down the road a little bit further. So.
Ditto.
Yes, sir.
All
and
right.
with that, I thank everybody for coming out. Again, We are incorporating West Louisville. We're going to get this done. We'll have a broadcast soon, and we'll let everybody know about it. Just check out our social media, check out the group, and you'll see future broadcast dates and future meeting dates. All right.
All right.
All right. Peace, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. I'm gonna
Yes,
get back
sir.
to work.
All right. All right. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right.